Have you heard the entire quote before? I doubt that you have. But in case you haven't, here it is. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. People know themselves much better than you do. That is why it's important to stop expecting them to be something other than who they are. That's by Maya Angelou. Hello, Governor. I'm back. We're Kai Steed, Noob from the Ville, talking about the wonderful, wonderful show, which is Arcane. Second season, and this is our media therapy deep dive for season 2, episode 5, Blisters and Bedrock. And I'm going to call this particular deep dive Strange Are Things. This particular show deals with a lot of magic, and I know that if you watch the reactions that Centel and myself and MC did on season 2, you will see that the one question that kept coming up was, okay, we have a show called Arcane, and it has been sublime since it started. However, for a show called Arcane, there's been very little actual magic use, and I guess if not including the Hexcore or even the effects that were done by people taking shimmer, there's been very little straight up magic. We started to get more of it this season, and in these past couple episodes, so like with the introduction of the Black Rose, the wild runes on the Hexcore, we've seen some magic. So in the last episode, we recognized that it turns out that Warwick is Vander, and he recognized Jinx as Powder. So Jinx goes to find Vi, and we find Vi has become a pit fighter, and she is trapped at the bottom of a bottle. She is drinking her sorrows away, and she is taking all that aggression out, even to the fact of, you see, I wore my pink shirt, and Love Illusion, it's about love, and this is, for Vi. However, Vi is not the same person anymore. You could see she's physically wearing guilt and regret and hurt and betrayal. She dyed her pink hair, it's now a very dark black. She's been fighting and drinking so long now, you can tell from the opening sequence. Because now her arms are all muscled and ripped, and she looks like a pit fighter, like an MMA fighter. Jinx breaks into her dressing room, and they have it out, and while Jinx is being choked out, she eventually tells her that Vander is alive. And this infuriates Vi, because she's like, you know that he's dead, and I don't know what kind of tricks you playing. And she's mad. She's really mad at her that she thinks that Jinx's actions in killing Caitlyn's mother destroyed her relationship with Caitlyn, but it really didn't. I mean, Caitlyn needed some therapy, and she hasn't been able to deal with the loss of her mother, and she thinks that by killing Jinx, it will make her feel better, when in reality we all know that it won't. Vi is skeptical, and she follows Jinx into a mine where Jinx says she lost track of Warwick / Vander. Isha is with them, and Isha's not speaking, and we even get into a point where Vi and Jinx get into it in the tunnels. They say some hilarious things to each other, hurtful, but still funny. And Isha jumps on Vi's back to get her off of Jinx, and just as a matter of reflex, Vi hits Aisha, or throws her off her back, but she's hurt, and Vi understands what this feud with her sister's doing to her, because when she sees the care that Jinx gives to Isha, she sees a different Jinx. Like, she sees Powder again, and she sees something in her sister that she hasn't seen in a long time, and it softens her a bit. But because Warwick is attracted to blood, he smells Isha's blood and he comes running. He's got that bloodlust thing on him. And just at the moment where he's about to strike Vi, he recognizes her too. That love, and I talked about in the last episode, the scent of love. Even when the blood came out and he was on a tear, his love for his daughters shone through, and he recognized Vi. And then, in a very sappy moment, I'm not saying that your eyes would sweat, but Vi and Jinx hugged Vander, or Warwick at this point, and even Isha joined in for one big family hug. At this point, Vi and Jinx know that they have to get Warwick some help. Is there a way? And they heard about this healer, this prophet, a herald, that's set up in another part of Zaun, and I think if we take Warwick to him, maybe he can heal him and turn him back into Vander. Ambessa hires Singed to track down Vander. Singed knew she was coming because Ambessa wants the beast. At this point, Warwick is a weapon, and she said it's the most savage beast that she has ever went up against. So she wants it in her employ. Caitlyn comes in and figures out that Singed is actually a Piltover scientist who was expelled named Corin Ravik, and he was somewhat of a madman. His daughter Oriana fell sick, and he started doing some experiments that were way outside of norms, and he was expelled for his madness. Again, we're coming back to Mel. This is the first time we've seen her in a while, and she's in a Black Rose prison. And her right-hand person, her friend, who was kind of warned her and told her that the Black Rose was there, that was taken with her. Her friend is on these like chains made out of thorns, like rose thorns, and she's ripped apart, and she dies in front of Mel. And Mel is in this sort of magical prison, and while she's in that prison, she reunites with her brother Kino, who we thought to be deceased. We thought he was dead, and they have a back and forth, and they talk about kind of the reasons that Kino ended up in prison and how Mel got there, and he starts to explain some stuff to her about Ambessa, and that Ambessa had an illegitimate child, and Kino was taken because he was thought to be the illegitimate child. But the Black Rose people said, it's not him. And it turns out that that illegitimate child was Mel. Now, what does that mean exactly? We still have to find out. But Mel realizes that this is not actually Kino. This is not her brother. And when she smashes the head of this witch, which this may be LeBlanc, but this person posing as Kino, Mel finds herself trapped and up in the same chains made of thorns as her friend was. However, this triggers Mel's latent psychic ability, and she busts out of those chains. Now we're back at the Hex Vault, and we see Jayce reemerge, but Jayce looks like he's been in there for a long time, because he went in there clean shaven. He's got a full wild beard. He looks wild, and remember, it was because of those wild runes. Jayce looks crazy as hell. No Heimerdinger, no Ekko, just Jayce. And there also looks like there's some kind of chaos, something going on with him, because we see like images of other personalities, other parts of his psyche, something going on. But he looks like a wild man, like he's been, out in the wilderness for, a long time. Sallow, remember the counselor, Sallow? He comes in to talk with Jayce and says that Viktor wants to talk to him. Viktor has healed him. And not only that, Sallow, remember he was in a wheelchair, Sallow is walking around due to him being healed by Viktor. But there's a point where he's talking to Jayce and Viktor takes over Sallow's body and speaks to him through Sallow. Jayce, something in the wild man that he was or whatever, he is not down with this. And at the last second, Sallow turns to leave and he has invited Jayce to the encampment where Viktor is. Jayce takes that Hextech hammer of his and smashes Sallow's head on the floor and kills him. And it is clear at this moment that the Jayce who disappeared and went into the Hexcore is not the one that returned. Jayce swears, he vows to destroy all Hextech right before he kills Sallow. And all Hextech, that means also his former best friend, Viktor. You know I love my quotes, and I only have one for you today. I gave you one at the beginning, the Maya Angelou quote. But I have one. It's from Robert Greene in his book, The Laws of Human Nature. We see people not as they are, but how they appear to us. And these appearances are usually misleading. I called this particular episode, Strange Are Things, because things are not as they appear to be. In this episode, we have the Arcane, and we see that Mel is not who we've been led to believe that she is. We find out that she's the illegitimate child. She is Ambessa's child, and she's the last living, or the heir to the Medarda fortune and empire. But there's a dark secret that's being held into who Mel's father actually is. The Black Rose are extremely interested in that, and they took and possibly killed Kino because of who they thought he was, only to find out he wasn't who they thought that he was. Ambessa is not who that we think that she is, and there is a mystery that surrounds Ambessa that we have yet to figure out. The beast, Warwick, turns out to be Vander. And it's something to be said about the most brutal, the most savage, the most deadly of almost anyone that we've seen in the world of Arcane at this point is one of the most gentle people in the first season. And it's amazing how circumstances can change things for people so quickly. Jinx and Vi are not who they appear to be. Jinx, we see her revert to powder in the last episode and in this episode in a way. We see Vi, who her hurt, her pain, which she's wearing, has turned her into someone else, but that's not who she is, not really. And last but certainly not least, Jayce, who was a champion of Hextech, and he only wanted to use Hextech to heal and to help the prosperity of Piltover, is so corrupted now. He is not who we thought he was anymore. I know there's a line in Batman where he say, you live long enough, you see yourself become the villain. And that's the thing that's been really interesting about Arcane, is that a lot of people have jumped back and forth across the line. Now, Ambessa has always been the villain. She is the big bad of this show. But she has manipulated a lot of things from the shadows. She's been in the background orchestrating a lot of madness and using people. And some people are aware of it and some are not. But Jinx has went from hero to villain to anti-hero, maybe. Vi has went from hero protagonist to even she spent time as an enforcer. So even though you can justify what they were doing, she became one of the things that she hated most. Those were the people, the enforcers were the people who were responsible for killing her parents, and she became one. Jayce has most definitely turned into a madman. We have yet to see what Jayce will become, because he is not the person that he was. Mel, we have no idea who she is or what she's capable of yet. Few people are ever what they seem. I had a situation recently where I was talking to a young lady friend of mine, and we were talking about my brother Chuck. And some of the things that she was saying made it seem like, it's not what she was saying, but it made it seem like she didn't really rock with Chuck. Because the way that Chuck comes off, if you know him, know that he's one of the most genuine people that I know. If he says it, that's what it is. It's not embellished. It's not, made up. If he says it, that's pretty much, it is what it is. But if you don't know him really, he says things and he says them in a way where you're like, that dude is full of shit. And you don't know that he is often a super genuine person. He follows through on what he says without fail. It's almost jarring because it's so damn near unnatural in these days and times that people actually say what they mean and mean what they say. This time of social media has changed people so much, because you can get on social media and reinvent yourself, become someone that you're not, do things that are not within your character, all for clicks and likes. I know someone asked me once, is who I am when I do this, is that who I really am? And it absolutely is. If it wasn't, I definitely would do something else. It's not like this page has went super viral and I'm just burning up the clicks and just raking in the dough. I am not. But I don't know any other way to be. I can't help it. I did not mean to do media therapy. It just happened. I watch shows where I do these reactions with Centel, and just my mind gets to racing. So I watch him and I think about things, and I started doing the deep dives. And in doing those, I didn't mean to be inspirational, motivational. I just call it like I see it. And that does not mean that I am infallible, and I don't want to come off as that as all, but I am genuine in what I'm saying, and if I can help someone, anyone, shit, including myself, that's what you get. The thing is, in our minds, we decide who we think you are. And then we get upset with you when you don't live up to that promise. Sometimes you didn't love me. You loved the thought of me. You loved the thought of love. You are disappointed that I'm not who you wanted me to be, instead of realizing who I actually was. And we get upset about that. We put people on pedestals so fast. Sports figures, celebrities, pseudo-celebrities, people that you revere, and then we get upset that when we find out that they're human, because humans err. When we find that out, we get upset with them. How dare you be regular? I didn't think that you got up in the morning and put on your pants one leg at a time. You mean to tell me that you don't jump in the air and do a triple Lindy and just land in your pants like this? What? At any rate, I'll end this with how I began this. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. This is Rick Highsteed, new from the Ville. Make sure that you like, comment, share share this. It doesn't take anything to share. And leave me some comments on what did you think about what I said. There are people in your life that are who they say they are. Are you who you say you are? Think about that. Anyway, if you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and stay around for at the end. You'll see some of my trusted, wonderful subscribers and patrons. Not only that, there are plenty of other videos for you to grab a hold of and catch a few of those gems in there. Maybe I'll say something that resonates with you. It's gotta be about this. More importantly, it's gotta be about this.